I like art. I like to be inspired. I like to use...
Excuse me, you're on the air.
Oh, well. Hello there! I'm so excited because I'm going to see some art, doing a little studio visit with my favorite art collective, Mz.Icar. She said that she was going to show us around her studio and give us a look at some of her archives and what her thought process was and how she intended to make the work. So now we are going to ask some questions and find out all about her process. So join us. Ooh, interesting. So, tell us about the work.
Okay, so this collection was organized under the theme of forward thinking. And so all of these pieces, they span from quite a few years, and some of them are from the Junk Prints archive, and then other ones are strictly Mz.Icar pieces. But the thing that they have in common is that they thematically follow the notion of forward thinking.
What is this all about? Excuse me. Is there someone here who can... I got questions. I need the answers. What's happening right here? Tell me, huh?
So this is the Imagine That calendar, and it's from 2018. It's a piece from the Junk Prints archive, and we got a chance to talk with Chanel, who designed this. And she mentioned that she was super duper inspired by the Stendig calendars because she still keeps paper calendars and paper records. But what interested us was the idea of taking calendar and time planning a little bit further into what if certain things historically happened or they changed, or what if you kind of become it's like make your own adventure, like follow your own destiny. So I'll go ahead and read the intro of the calendar and just show you a couple of pages out of it to get an idea of what was going on as far as to give you an idea of the theme of this calendar. This calendar was available at Printed Matter in 2018 in a limited edition run. And basically the intro says, imagine that. If your time is the most valuable asset you have, spend it wisely. I strongly believe in creativity and imagination. I often find myself in a world of double consciousness, wondering, what if many events had different outcomes? What if Native Americans had strong self-governed regions unaffected by proposed pipelines? What if Deslandes had succeeded in the 1811 New Orleans slave revolt and paired with the Jamaican Maroons? What if Shirley Chisholm won the 72 election? What if Black Wall Street wasn't burned down? What if we slept for 3 hours a day and found out there was really 27 hours to a day? What if my grandmother stayed in Belize? What if America officially apologized and was sincerely sorry for the injustice of slavery and colonialism? What if unicorns existed? What if we could fly? What if those ships never made the Middle Passage? What if more women made political decisions? What if you did your very best today and every day you were dedicated to spreading love? Imagine that. Often our thoughts become our actions, and our actions shape our participation in life. The events and things we celebrate create ritual and inspire future direction. Life is filled with all these spectacular moments that shape the world we live in. Let this keeper of days be a reminder of your proximity and participation possibilities that each moment of each day possess. Cheers to 2018. It's your year. Imagine that. It goes on to explain that most of the calendar events that are listed are they're based on real people and events, but they have alternative outcomes. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up so you can take a look at some of the cool things on the inside. So the calendar starts off like right away with what if Shirley Chisholm became president, and it mentions her requiring people who are of service in the government, like Congress members, things like that, that they receive minimum wage, and that and that kind of changes the whole system, like basically making it so that those jobs are no longer appealing to kind of money people. It's a whole different vibe. Oh, and this one's one of my favorite. I just thought it was cute. It was, instead of Valentine's Day, it was just replaced with a day of love. And so it was just celebration of all forms of love, and it was recognized throughout the world, kind of like this universal holiday. We thought that was super, super cool. So this was another really interesting kind of possible outcome to our historic narrative. She uses July to describe slaves that never were, and it revisits July 1562, and Jesus of Lubeck, was the first slave ship created to travel to the Americas, and it was overthrown by its quote-unquote cargo. All 500 of what's current day known as Sierra Leoneans survived and were returned home. The remains of the ship, captain, and crew were never found. We thought that was an interesting take of, like, what if that middle passage never happened, and how our lives would be shaped otherwise. So that was kind of a neat piece in there. This part was also kind of cool. So March celebrates gun-free America, and the setting is 2025 after a totalitarian regime and a series of mass shootings and repeated police brutality makes it so that the people of the U.S. decided to eradicate guns, including the guns of police officers as well, making it the first modern day nation to do so. The murder rate was reduced to 0. And so it's another example of, like, imagining an alternative outcome for the future as well, just based on, like, a series of different decisions and mindsets. So there are more dates. It goes through the whole year, and every month basically features something that's in the future or in the past, and encourages the person who owns it or interacts with this calendar to write their own and plot their own as an idea of, like, manifesting. And so we thought that was a super cool project to include in like future forward thinking. Ooh, what is this here? What's happening right here? Look at these cutouts and these eyeballs. I need to find out more. Oh, excuse me. This piece is entitled That Space, and it is also part of the Junk Prints archive. It's 12 by 16 inches, and it's a framed mixed media 3D analog collage. So meaning that, like, it's not flat, they're cut out pieces, hand cut out pieces, and then sits on top of space and another figure of a face as well. And this piece, when we got a chance to talk to Chanel from Junk Prints, mentioned that this piece had that same kind of leaning forward, this idea of, like, space exploration, moving to, like, a different consciousness, seeing the world a little bit differently, but also realizing that, like, we've got a fragmented consciousness. Like, there's pieces that are in the past, pieces that are in the present, pieces that are missing that we'll never understand, and moving through that with, like, an understanding as well. It was part of a series called Explorations in Nude that showed at Pyramid Hill Museum in Ohio, and it also had a pop-up exhibition in Bushwick as well. And the piece came out, it was created in 2016. So this piece is from 2016 and definitely explores that idea of, like, future forward and what that looks like for people of color, for marginalized people. Like, I guess it is a little bit in the genre of that Afrofuturism. But we've got our own beef with with categorizing names, but by definition, yes, it's very leaning forward. It's people of color leaning forward.
Tell me about these lines, these strings, this yarn situation happening right here. Yarn, 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 yarn.
This piece is entitled Laser Vision, and it is like 13 by 16-ish. It is an analog collage, meaning that like the pieces are cut out and glued. It's not a reprint or anything like that. And it also is embroidered, like to show the laser lines out of the eyes. So as a collective, when we were putting this piece together, of course, we're still pulling those themes and playing off of the theme of the Junk Prince artwork of like pushing things forward, this galactic, spatial, expansive, big brain past. You can move through the world in a whole different way, but yet there's a little bit of like some nods to like past crafts, past ways of moving and assembling things, such as rarely in the ideas of thinking is there a one feminine lean, and then in another way, a feminine lean meaning that from what's women's work, like such as craft or things like that. And I say that with quotes, like, you know, anyone can do any type of work, but usually textile work is predominantly seen as like women's work, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that doesn't have expansion or threads or anything moving forward. And so this is a little bit of a nod to that. And so when we were done making this piece, we decided that it needed to be big. Like the idea of like a future and moving forward and imagining yourself with like past and future needs to be seen huge. And so we decided to do really large print. And this print series is a series of 10 out of Mz.Icar, and it's pretty big. I think it's like 24 by 36. Yeah, 24 by 36, and it has hand embellished gold paint on it as well. But it basically shows this in a huger way, like almost like, let me get my point across. Let me tap you in the head with this in a bigger way. So that's where this larger print came from, and it was included in a show in Toronto at the Humber Galleries. The year of this piece is actually around 2016, 2017, I think, this larger piece moving through. So yeah, it's like the future needs to be bigger and broader and larger and more shoved down your throat. That's the larger print.
Oh, pretty. I like this. Happy birthday. Oh, sparks and candles. Why does, what is this? What is, somebody tell me, what is this?
This piece is entitled Creation. It was done in 2020, and we got together and decided we wanted to play with some sparklers because sparklers are hella fun. And a lot of it was kind of just this party, this celebration, this idea of like sparking like a new beginning. This piece right here is a 20 by 20 inch photography print. It's an artist proof, so it's a notion that we'll probably still be like working with theme wise. You may see more elements of this in future work as we move forward, but what really stood out was this idea of like, in so many ways, there's these thoughts and theories about creation, whether it's like the Big Bang theory or the Christianity trove of God or the Orishas or whatever it is. But like so much of it starts with this like this idea, and everything has to start from some point. And we just felt like after seeing what our results were from our photo shoot, we felt like this was a really good depiction of that, like sparking an idea, that literal like our version, I suppose, of the light bulb, like where it all starts. And I think that moving forward, things have to kind of start with a manifestation and thought process. And this photograph represents that for us and for our collective, and hopefully kind of comes across in the work to you too.
no knees, no toes. Head and shoulders, no knees, no toes, no knees, no toes.
Action, you're on the air.
Oh, hello. Okay, that was so much fun. I'm so glad we got to visit with Mz.Icar and she showed us around her studio, and I want to buy everything because I love artwork and I am a consumer and I like to consume because I'm consumptious. Mz.Icar, are any of these pieces for sale? Can I cop them? Can I own them? Yes, they are for sale. You can hit me up at Mz@Mz.Icar.com to inquire about specific pieces. All of the pieces shown are for sale, including the pieces that are part of the Young Prince archive. That's amazing! I cannot wait for the next studio visit. I hope that you have enjoyed accompanying me to this studio visit.